Guys, welcome back to the final part of the 5 things that you need to do now in order to move into your new home by Christmas. Thanks to all of you that have joined us through the whole week this week to hear the first 4 tips. By now we know, or you've been able to establish what you're looking for, how to find it, how to be able to get on the database of off-market listings of the agents and the likes of Domain, what your finance situation is, whether you do need to sell before you buy, and what are the implications from a contract perspective to be able to prepare your property to put on the market from a contract perspective as well as from an overall presentation perspective. So we've covered all of that. Now, provided all of that is done, the topic of discussion today is about now going live with your property so that you're able to sell before you can buy, if you are looking to sell before you buy, and exactly what that process looks like, what are some of the pointers that we can guide you in that instance, and then purchasing your new property, what are the things that you're wanting to look out for. So in terms of getting the property ready, we've discussed what you need to be doing, how quickly things can be done to be able to get your property on the market. Once it is on the market, the kind of things, so we always talk about that if the property is priced right, presented right, and negotiated right, it should sell within the first 2 weeks of going on the market. Typically, the process that we're following is that if we're listing a property, say on a Wednesday or Thursday of the week, we're hosting the first open home on Saturday. We're gaining momentum throughout the week by promoting it to our off-market database and to our social media channels. And come the day of the first open home, when there is that sort of buyer sentiment and proof of interest in the property, that's when we're getting the buyers to present their offers on that night to be able to close the deal. So as I've mentioned, the property looks good, the property's been marketed well, the property's negotiated well, it will sell quickly. So provided to say you put your property on the market, a typical period that it does go through, to expect it to be sold is within the 4 to 6 week period, but currently, what we are seeing is that good properties are selling within the first 2 open homes. So definitely allow for that if you've got all of these ducks lined up to be able to go to market. So if it does sell quickly, it's definitely beneficial to you. What happens after it does go under contract though, that sort of 5 to 10 business day cooling off period, that's when a lot of the things that are happening in the background from the buyer's valuation perspective, from building inspection perspective, and until obviously that 10% comes in, the property is not sold. So some of the things that we're doing in the background for the properties that are currently under contract, we are still entertaining inquiries from other buyers that might be interested in purchasing the property. So for example, hypothetically speaking, if the buyer that has purchased the property or put the holding deposit, if they rescind for whatever reason, we've still got a backlog of buyers to be able to present to your property if that was to come back on the market again. So we've got a plan B if it doesn't sell. So in terms of what exactly the things that you're looking for, if you are buying and you're in that stage of you're actually put a deposit in a property and you've asked for that 10-day cooling off period, what are the things that you're looking for? Naturally, there's going to be, the banks are going to be doing their valuation and those checks. But in terms of the building inspections that will happen, building and pest inspections, some of the things that we would recommend for you to keep a close eye on these inspections is the likes of termite activity. Hello to everyone coming on. Hello, Marcus. So the likes of termite activity, whether it is active right now or whether there is previous activity of termites in the property. Now, the determination of what you do with the property, if you find these things, so the other things being any water damage or anything else that's structurally does not make the property sound, you've got the right to be able to rescind the contract. But whether you do rescind or whether you ask for a discount, that's only something based on your circumstances you'll be able to discuss at that time. But it pays to get a good building inspector to be able to go through the property and look at these things, and you as a buyer are welcome to go with them to be able to check. I mean, we've had buyers that go out and that they check even all the taps, make sure there's no leakages, because what happens is that once the property goes unconditional, you're accepting it in that condition. So if there's anything that's wrong, for example, the aircon hasn't been serviced, or there's leaking taps, or the appliances are not working, whatever condition it is at that time is what you've accepted it to be in. So that's the time that you can make those comments when you are accompanying the building inspector, if you do choose to do that, or asking for them to be able to do that. They don't automatically do that, so it's something, if it's of value to you, if it's important to you, it's something that you should be talking to your building inspector about. A lot of people, if they're buying as a renovation, don't really bother with that, but if it is something important to you, that's something that you want to be aware of and asking those questions before you pay the 10%. So talking about what happens once you've got the 10%, let's go back again from a vendor's perspective. So you've got your property on the market, you're selling, you've got the property has gone under cooling off. It has now become unconditional and your agent has received the 5 or 10%. You've got the option at that time to be able to use that deposit to be able to put against the property that you're purchasing. That's called an early release of deposit, and it's negotiated with between the solicitors, and the buyers have to agree to that as well. So that's something, that's a great reason why we encourage anyone to sell before you buy, because you've got that cash flow. You don't have to be waiting to create those deposits over a long time or saving for a long time. If you're selling, that money that you're getting in trust account of the agent that that's selling the property for you can be used to buy your next property. So once, let's say for example, your property has gone unconditional and you're purchasing your next property, you put in your deposit and doing your due diligence, and everything has been done in that regard. After that, when you're going to do your final inspection, you want to be able to make sure that the way that the property was like at the time of the initial inspection, everything is pretty much in that same condition. The other thing to be mindful of also on the contracts is the inclusions. You want to make sure that, like for example, we've had buyers where they've gone to do the final inspection and the designer curtains are missing because they were not on the contract. So all of those things, if they are important to you, and again, from a agent's perspective or solicitor's perspective, it's only the things that the vendor wants to include in the contract of sale that will be part of it. So if you've made an assumption that the property as is in the photos is what you're going to get, but for example didn't include the curtains, then that's an assumption that you need to make sure you get clarification in writing before you finalize the deal. So definitely critical there. I think that's pretty much, I've covered everything. Once you've got your keys, you're ready to go. And naturally, after you move into the property, there will be things that you pick up on. And for us as agents, we always get in touch with our buyers after they move in to see if there's anything else that we can help them with. Most of the times, like for example, if there's minor things, we can recommend our team of handyman, plumbers, electricians to come out and do minor things if need to be done, or even if they're planning a renovation, we've got all those contacts to help them as well. Thank you so much for your time, for listening, especially for every day, those of you that have joined us. Really appreciate it. More than happy to help you in any of the matters. If you, as I've mentioned before, if you're already purchasing a property and just need an opinion, someone to run it past, we're always here to help. You've got our details. You can send us a DM at any time, or text us as well. I'll send you our details in the messages afterwards. Perfect. Have a good rest of the week. Enjoy your Saturday. Happy house hunting for those that are out looking for properties, and do get in touch if we can help you from a property management point of view, from a sales point of view, or from a finance point of view. We are your one-stop shop for all of your property and mortgage needs. So thank you for listening. We'll see you guys next time.